Unity across continents and oceans was the theme of the historic inaugural CARICOM-Africa summit held virtually on Tuesday. Leaders from the Caribbean and Africa joined in talks geared towards deepening opportunities for deepening integration. The summit presents a reimagining of the future relations between people in Africa and the Caribbean, who are united by a shared history. The CARICOM-Africa summit follows on the declaration by the African Union of the diaspora as the sixth region of Africa. In his remarks, Chairman of CARICOM and Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda Gaston Brown said unity between African and Caribbean people would mean more effective use of each country's natural resources.
Together, we have the voting power of 69 nations in the United Nations and all of some subsidiary organizations, including the World Trade Organization. And I refer to that group as the group of 69, the G69. We have global bargaining power, but only if we use it effectively. If we sit in that power, then clearly we will continue to be marginalized. That is why I now make the following 4 interwoven proposals for this meeting to consider. First, we should create a forum of African and Caribbean territories and states under the acronym FACTS, managed jointly by the Secretariats of the African Union and CARICOM. Second, we should nominate this day, September 7th, in every year going forward as Africa CARICOM Day. Third, every year hereafter, we should repeat this Africa CARICOM Summit on this day, September 7th, to analyze the global situation and our place within it, and also to discuss initiatives and programs, and to authorize joint actions. Fourth, we should charge the secretariats of the African Union and CARICOM to present to us within the next 6 months for approval at our meeting next year, the founding charter and a memorandum of operation of our forum, including proposals to overcome existing obstacles to trade and investment.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic has reinforced the possibilities of the African-CARICOM relationship.
Most critically, Jamaica and the Caribbean region benefited greatly from the African Union's provision of access to COVID-19 vaccines and other critical medical supplies through the innovative AMSP, which has been a game changer for the continent and for us. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area is another, creating an enabling environment for the flow of investment and tourism. For Jamaica, there is potential in the agro, industry, and logistics sector. And Jamaican companies have already invested in Africa. Opportunities also exist for scientific research and collaboration.
Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, in her contribution, said a unified voice between Africa and the Caribbean would give strength to calls for fair trade and development opportunities.
We face the climate crisis together, recognizing that no longer can the battle be fought on behalf of small island developing states alone, but must now also reflect those countries between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Why? Because regrettably, small island developing states have not been able to motivate the world to save us by telling the world that it cannot move beyond 1.5 degrees because we need an increase limited and capped at 1.5 degrees if we are to survive. The multiple storms and floods, my brother, that you have seen across Africa, and the multiple hurricanes and droughts and sargassum weed that you see across the Caribbean reinforce that we are the victims of that climate crisis that we did not create, that are the victims of the same greed that caused the extraction of wealth from our countries across both sides of the Atlantic in order to enrich those who sought to have a development projection based on that extraction of our wealth and the use of primary commodities to continue to be the basis for them to add value that way exceeds that which we receive for primary commodities. It is up to us to make these changes. We know them well. And we continue not only to face the climate crisis, as I said, we face now jointly the pandemic. And while we fight this current pandemic against the background of vaccine inequity and apartheid, against the absence of global leadership so that we could have found a way to fight the battle against the very variants, we do so conscious that there are other pandemics that are likely to confront us. And we equally fight the battle, regrettably, of access to a concessional financing that is affordable and that is capable of being the platform for our development. Why do I say so? Because at the end of the day, when a country like Ghana and a country like Greece go to the international capital markets, how do we explain them having the same international credit ratings, but Ghana having to borrow at multiple times more than the cost that Greece borrows at, simply because Greece belongs to the European Union and the international financial community values the definition of safe assets, which are within the European Union, in a way that Africa and the Caribbean do not have access to these safe assets.
Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, said the summit is timely as the move for further unity comes during the United Nations Decade for People of African Descent. He noted that Africa has been an invaluable partner to the region and closer collaboration would be of mutual benefit.
We welcome the inclusion on today's agenda of trade and investment and highlight the symbiotic relationship that exists with improving transport connectivity. While digital functionality is an imperative, with online platforms such as this being ubiquitous, in-person exchanges will boost our trade, investment, and tourism activities.
Immediate former chairperson of the African Union and President of South Africa, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, said the summit is an opportunity to share expertise and knowledge so as to resolve common challenges.
Just as we share a common history, we also have common challenges. We are all contending with the devastating human, social, political, and economic effects of COVID-19 pandemic. We are all working to overcome the effects of colonialism and underdevelopment by building inclusive economies and creating more opportunities for our people. We are all vulnerable to the effects of climate change through rising sea levels, adverse weather effects, and social and economic disruption. This pandemic has demonstrated the value and the necessity of confronting challenges by working together.
A CARICOM diplomatic mission will be opening soon in Kenya to serve as CARICOM's platform in Africa, with a mandate to develop beneficial relations with all countries on the African continent. The outcome of the summit will influence work to be done by the mission.